All right, let's jump right in. We all want a strong, happy family, right? But how do you actually pull that off in this crazy, chaotic world we live in? Now, while the full framework has 7 habits, we're going to focus on the first 3. These are the absolute bedrock principles. They're the private victories you need before you can have any kind of public success. This is all about building a foundation for a family that doesn't just get by, but really, truly thrives. And that right there is the big idea. A great family isn't something you just get lucky with. Nope, it's something you build on purpose. It's a choice, it's a project, and honestly, it requires everything you've got. You know that picture we all have in our heads of the ideal family? Long summer evenings, feeling connected and safe? But let's be real. The reality for most of us looks a lot more like this. Slammed schedules, kids spending an average of 7 hours a day in front of a screen, and everyone just feeling pulled in a million different directions. The game has changed, so our strategy has to change too. So how do we bridge that massive gap? Well, it's not some secret trick or a magic bullet. It's about a fundamental shift in how you see things. And here's the key. This whole journey doesn't start by trying to fix your spouse or your kids. It's a journey that starts from the inside and works its way out. And that brings us to what's called the inside-out approach. The single most powerful tool you have to change your family's culture is you. It all starts with you. And that powerful idea leads us straight into the very first habit, being proactive. So what is proactivity? It's your superpower of choice. See, most of us are reactive. Something happens, we get triggered, and we just react, often saying or doing things we regret later. Proactivity is about creating a pause button. In that little space between what happens to you and how you respond, that's where you get to choose. You can act based on your values, not just the heat of the moment. And what powers that pause button? Well, according to this framework, it's these 4 amazing human gifts. Think about it. First, you use your self-awareness to even notice, whoa, I'm having a reaction right now. Then your conscience kicks in, that little inner voice of right and wrong. That allows your imagination to picture a better way to handle this. And finally, you use your independent will to actually make that better choice. Those 4 things, working together, are your toolkit for real change. Okay, so once you start working on yourself from the inside out, you can start to shift the whole family culture from me to we, and that all begins with deciding on a shared destination. This ancient proverb is just so true, especially for families. If you don't know where you're going together, you'll just end up getting swept along by whatever trends or values society throws at you. You won't be living your life will be lived for you. So what's the answer? You create a family mission statement. Seriously, this thing is like your family's constitution. It's where you decide as a team what you stand for. It becomes the North Star that guides every other decision you make. And what might go into that vision? Well, check this out. This isn't just about writing down vague, fluffy ideas. It's about defining the actual practical abilities you want to build in your family. Things like problem solving, forgiveness, and even just the ability to play and have fun together. How great is that? So, with a clear vision in hand, you can start focusing on those day-to-day interactions. And one of the most powerful ways to think about this is with this metaphor of an emotional bank account. It's a total game changer. Think of it like this. Every single relationship you have has one. When trust and positive feelings are high, your account balance is high. Communication is easy, you give each other the benefit of the doubt. But when that balance is low, oh boy. Every little thing is a battle, and there's just no trust left. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. Simple kindness, a real apology, just listening to understand, those are massive deposits. But on the flip side, criticism, nagging, blaming, those things drain the account dry fast. The goal, every single day, is to make way more deposits than withdrawals. And this is where it all clicks together. Love isn't just some fuzzy feeling that comes and goes. It's a choice. It's an action. And when you're being proactive, you can choose, moment by moment, to love, to actively make a deposit into the emotional bank accounts of the people who matter most to you. Okay, you have your vision, you understand the importance of making daily deposits, but here's the million-dollar question. How in the world do you make it all happen when life is just so ridiculously busy? Well, this next habit gives us an absolutely brilliant way to think about turning that vision into a reality. I mean, This is the question that trips up pretty much everyone, right? We have the best intentions, but the urgent stuff, the little fires we have to put out all day, always seems to crowd out the truly important things. But there's a powerful analogy that totally solves this puzzle. Okay, so imagine you have an empty jar that represents your week. Most of us, what do? We fill it up first with all of the sand and pebbles. The emails, the little chores, the daily crises. Then we try to cram in our big rocks, the really important priorities, like meaningful family time. And what happens? No surprise, right? They just don't fit.
But watch this. What happens if you flip the whole thing on its head? You take your big rocks, your absolute highest priorities, and you put them in the jar first. You schedule that family dinner, that one-on-one time with your kid. Then you pour the sand and pebbles in around them. And like magic, it all fits.
And that sentence right there is the whole secret. Let me say it again. The key is not to prioritize your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. It's not about finding the time for what's important. It's about making the time by putting it on the calendar first. And in the end, that's what it all comes back to, right? That inside-out approach. Building an amazing family isn't really about time management. It's about self-management. It's about managing your choices and your focus and having the vision to know what your big rocks are and the discipline to put them in the jar first, week after week. So as we close this out, I want to leave you with this question. And it's not just a thought experiment. It's for you right now. What is the one big rock, the one most important thing that you will schedule and place in your family's jar this week? Because a successful family doesn't just happen. It's built on purpose, one big rock at a time.